It's time for fantasy football semi-pros. Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Semi-Pros.
Take
number
two.
two.
Take two. Take two.
Once again, we'll go with it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, sorry guys. I drank a Monster energy drink this morning. Sponsorship, possibly. And I am buzzed. Not buzzed like in the alcoholic sense, but I am buzzed on energy and caffeine right now. So let's do this. We got 2 episodes a day.
Yep, we got 2 episodes today. We're going to go through our first 7 rookie wide receivers.
Wide receiver class is pretty deep, pretty solid.
And then we're going to take about a 5-10 minute break.
Yep.
And then we'll come back and do another episode.
Yes. So 14 wide receivers altogether. How many we got?
20 wide receivers in total.
20 wide receivers in total, 20 running backs in total.
7 quarterbacks and 10 tight ends.
10 tight ends. But that's not all today.
No.
We just got group 1 and group 2 of wide receivers today. Group 1, group 2.
Next week, we'll do 1 group of wide receivers and
Yep.
1 group of running backs.
Yes. Running backs are a lot easier to watch.
In all honesty, for me, I think they're easier to evaluate too.
Well, yeah. I mean, half the time though, when I was watching film on some of these wide receivers, it's like the snap of the ball and the camera's nowhere near them, and then the play's just drawn out, and then all of a sudden deep ball down the middle of the field, and you're like, is that the guy I'm watching, or is this somebody else?
Yep.
Oh man, it's pretty.
But
rough.
the good news is we've done this work, so you don't have to.
Yes, so you listen
Now-
to us, and we tell you what we think, and don't hold us accountable because we're human beings.
And it's our first time.
That's what she
But-
said.
But I will say, one of the best ways to figure out who you like, who you think is going to be a good asset for you, is to watch yourself.
Right.
So, at this point, might as well get into it.
Might as well. Dude, might as well. You take the lead. You start. We're not on him. We're on him. You have I have all these little tiny bullet points.
All right. So, we'll start with who is possibly one of my favorite receivers in this draft.
Okay.
Jameson Williams out of Alabama.
It depends. I want to see how he recovers from that ACL injury.
Well, I will say, I mean, the injury, especially with it being so late, is the reason why he's not my number 1.
Gotcha. But
But-
I mean, you're right. Before the injury, easily the best wide receiver in this class.
He definitely would have had an argument to be the number 1 pick for wide receivers.
Yes, definitely.
One of the things I really liked about him, though, he
That-
had great run after the catch ability.
He made everybody miss.
He did
That's one of my bullet points. Makes people miss.
good in space.
Breakaway explosive speed. Touchdown threat anytime he's on the field.
Yeah, and then one of the most important things for wide receivers, he's a great route runner.
Yes, that was a big thing. He's a
One
great
note
route runner.
One note I
Yes.
did have, he occasionally rounds his routes off at the top. But other than that, he ran really sound routes.
Yeah, I have crisp route runner here, but you're right. One of my biggest knocks on him was sometimes he's lazy, and that's where you get like the rounded off routes.
Mhm.
Maybe he's not the first or second read, so he's not really putting in a lot of effort. Kind of just going off of the. Sometimes he's lazy. That doesn't mean all the time. And he's like the next Tyreek Hill possibly if he comes back healthy. That's who I would probably compare him to. But, I mean, strong hands, great pass catcher, but he can get a lackadaisical and he drops some balls and he's not blocking downfield, so don't even.
Yeah, and that's something I do have on here. He does have some concentration drops. I don't think it's an ability that causes him to drop it.
Oh, no,
He
absolutely
just
not.
loses that concentration, and it seems like more so when he's looking for that big run after the catch.
That or he's expecting to get lit up.
But he has some of the greatest burst I've seen in this class.
Yeah, the acceleration is. I don't think there's anybody else that has to giddy up and go as he does. You know what I'm saying?
Now, one knock I do have on him, like it didn't show that he was pressed much when he was with Alabama, and that could have been due to his speed.
Oh yeah, certainly.
He's so fast, but when he was pressed, he wasn't great against the press.
No, and not a lot of people are. I only played against one wide receiver who was really great against the press, and he's in NFL right now. Derek Carrier. That dude, you're. He would tell me in practice, "You're good at pressing. Can you press me in practice?" I'm like, "I guess, dude." He made me look like a chump. But yeah, I think that's something you're gonna get different wide receiver coaches and see what they can do with you. But I would even at some point he's gonna figure that out.
So I mean, I know you haven't really paid attention or looked at the rookie or running backs and all that other positions yet.
No, I have not.
In Superflex, about where are you taking him?
Superflex league, 2 wide receiver or 2 QB league, possibly just 1 QB. I don't know. I still think he's a first round draft pick.
I agree. I think he's first, and I think it depends on team need. If you need a receiver to come in and produce right away, he can't be it. His ACL injury was way too late.
Right. I still think if he's a first round pick, you don't want to pass up on this kid.
No.
But I wouldn't expect breakout numbers right away.
Maybe
later in the season, next year.
Well, it usually takes rookie wide receivers about half a season to start actually producing.
Except for Jamar Chase.
That's why I said usually. And then also, he's coming back from an ACL injury, which is going to complicate that a little bit further.
Yeah, but I saw something because I follow Alabama football just because they have so many players that go to the NFL. Basically, he's saying he's almost there. He's almost there, back to full speed, and he's really hoping to be ready for training camp. And that's his goal, is to be ready by training camp and to be as close to 100%, if not 100%, by then. So, I mean, that's the good thing with being young, right? Yep. You can recover from these things so quickly, and knee injuries aren't a career ender anymore like they were 10, 15 years ago. So that's the best. That's the best news.
I have been seeing mocks of him possibly to the Chiefs or the Packers.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's the argument is they don't necessarily need him right away. Well, the Packers might now, but
yeah, Devontae Adams is gone.
Which we're not even going to get into the offseason stuff that's gone on so far. It's made this the craziest offseason in NFL history.
I haven't seen anything like it. People retiring, unretiring, people leaving.
Trades. It's just been nuts.
I can't believe some of the stuff that's happened. But that's not why we're here today.
Jamison Williams, he would be higher in my ranks if it wasn't for this ACL injury.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And right now, he's sitting as my 4th wide receiver.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't do a top 20 list. I did not, and I'm not even. I would still say top 5 though.
And I mean, honestly,
even potentially top 3. There's a lot. This is a deep wide receiver class, so you're gonna get numbers, but maybe not as high of a ceiling.
At one point, I think I did have a number 3, but I've kind of mixed my stuff around a little bit lately.
That's absolutely fine. That's why we're here. Yep. We have to evaluate and evaluate. You always hypothesize and you test those hypotheses. Hey, buddy.
All right, so our next player. Got Jahan Dotson out of Penn State.
This kid's good, dude. I have in bold letters, athlete. He just makes plays.
Yeah, I mean, just some of my notes I have on him. He's a good, precise route runner.
Yes.
Good speed.
I have a very smooth runner.
Good separation. Great hands.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about him, and if I remember, he's kind of smaller.
He is. He's only like 5'10", I think.
He's a decent blocker.
Yeah, one of my best. He's an effort blocker, great concentration, and he's a hustle player. So he's one of those guys you want on your team at the next level because he's gonna do whatever he can to get on the field and stay on the field, and then to help your team win.
Welker type?
I would still think he's a step above Wes Welker. But yeah, I guess he's a hustle guy.
And I mean, one of the things I did see in watching film, he has some breakaway speed to him too.
Yeah, he's an overall athlete, like I said. But this kid, my 2 biggest ones that I have here are the last 2 notes I have on him. He's a very intelligent player. And you combine that with your effort, and this is what makes him dangerous, is the fact that, he reads zone coverage very well. I don't know if it's a pre-snap read or if it was just the routes that were ran, but you can see him looking and you can see him getting to the open areas in zone coverage. But that's intelligence, reading the defense pre-snap. And then when the quarterback scrambles, he's also really good at getting open there too.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I was really impressed about. And there's a couple wide receivers in this class that are really good on the scramble drill, but he was hands down the best scramble drill wide receiver that I saw, and I think that's going to be extremely valuable at the next level.
I mean, two things that I really think were important to point out too. He was very good with his double moves and getting open deep.
Yeah, he uses the tools. I mean, size aside, he knows that's not his strength, but size aside, he knows his strengths and he makes them work for him.
Despite his size, he was actually very, very good with contested catch.
Oh, yeah. His hands, probably the best. I would say arguably the best hands in this class of the top 20 that we have. I would say he probably, because he's so focused. He seems so focused all the time.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, like, Brian and I really have not talked much about these rookies to each other.
No.
So everything we're hearing from each other, we're hearing for the first time.
I think I took a picture of this and said, "These are my notes, and this is how I'm doing my notes."
And I didn't really read it.
And then I didn't read yours either. Your chicken scratch, I can't read that.
I didn't expect you.
Looks like a third grader wrote that, dude.
I've never had good handwriting. There was one time, because I remember in elementary school they used to grade us on handwriting, and there was one time I got above a C.
Oh.
And I missed recess every day that 6 weeks because I was doing my homework so much slower. I was like, no, I'm not doing this ever again.
Why do teachers think that that's important? There's computers now.
I know.
You just email everything.
But that was an unrelated note.
Sorry.
All right.
That's probably going to happen a lot today.
We'll move on to our next one.
Whoa. Is he your top 5? Is he number
John Dawson?
Yeah. Where's he at for you?
Up again. I'm sorry.
I have him as my number 4.
I actually have him a little bit lower. I do have him in top 10. He's my number 9.
He's my 4.
He's my number 9 receiver. And it's not necessarily a knock against him. As you said, these receivers are...
It's a deep class. And everybody talked about how weak this class was. It's because there's really no standout QB running backs, or there's a dime a dozen.
Most of the players in this draft are not the difference makers.
There's a few. Some of these wide receivers.
There's a few. But these wide receivers, even the later ones, I think are good.
They'll be solid, guys. They'll be solid.
Breakout game changers.
Okay, we can't say they'll be solid because we don't know what team they're going to be playing on. We don't know who's going to draft them in real life, and we don't know how they're going to be utilized.
I do have Dotson at 9. His size scares me a little bit, but there's some of the other guys I think that I just like their tools that came with them and their upside.
I would say Jahan Dotson's more Brandon Cooks-esque with the size.
Okay.
In the tangibles.
I mean, Brandon Cooks has been solid. I think 1,000 yards every season, except when he's gotten hurt.
Yep. I think it's all but one season. But yeah, I have him top 5. I saw him top 5, 4 or 5. I go back and forth.
All right. Our next one that we're going to go over, another Alabama receiver, another injury, John Mechie III.
Yeah.
One thing I saw about Mechie, and I wanted to be more impressed than I was with his tape.
I just don't think there was those. I don't think the film that was available was his best stuff.
Fair. But if it's not his best stuff, it's not going to have his best stuff every game.
No, obviously not. But yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of Alabama games, and he's good.
No, I'm not saying he's bad.
He's a really good player, but I know what you're saying.
I think he's still in my top 10. But
oh yeah, certainly, definitely.
He's lower than I expected to have him, which I think I have him at 10.
That's fair.
Yes, I actually have him at 10 on the dot.
I have here that if you're in a PPR league, this dude's a dream.
He could be, yeah.
He's a PPR dream.
I mean, in Alabama, he was used a lot in the screen game.
Yeah, that and over the middle. He catches a lot of balls over the middle.
He has the ability to stretch the field.
Yes, he does. He's a very fast player, and I said it, he's good at 50-50 balls, and he has a catch radius that's just out of the world. I don't know that wingspan. He just seems to catch everything.
I also have on here, he just like Jameson Williams, he has good rack ability.
Mm-hmm.
I have it due to shiftiness.
Yak.
He's shifty.
Yeah, I mean, I have here that he has exceptional hands and a phenomenal catch radius, but he does have drops every once in a while. But I don't think that's due to his talent.
what I have on that one is he's more of a body catcher. He lets the ball get into his body. He's not catching it with his hands.
He had, yeah, I would agree with that. But there's some catches where he goes up or reaches out and gets it, and you're just like, how?
And I do have the note is he has more drops when he's trying to catch away from his body.
Mm-hmm.
So as the radius gets further away, that's when he's experiencing his drops. Like you mentioned, he has good catch radius. I didn't see that as much.
I don't know. I don't know if we saw how many. I don't know if you watched all the film, but some of the catches I saw were, wow, how did you do that?
Yeah.
And then there was some.
I'm not saying he doesn't have that ability.
And then there was somewhere it was like in the same area, and you're just like, well, how did you miss that? But then you look at it again, and you're like, he's looking away.
But one thing I did have with him is he was actually good at beating press coverage.
Yeah, I have a separation at line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
he's good at that.
Yeah, I was like great burst, acceleration, and deceleration, which just that in itself.
I said very smooth route runner, which is good because when you're explosive and you're smooth and you can shimmy down without giving it away to the defender. Yeah,
but I mean the reason I wouldn't throw deceleration in there because he can stop on a dime and lose that cornerback. And all those together, that helps lead him to get his separation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's gonna be an asset somewhere, but I mean, is he a first-round wide receiver in this class to me?
Like I said, I have him at 10 right now.
I would say at the very, very best, if you have a good gut feeling about him, last 3 picks of the first round, maybe.
You could probably get
at best, but I think you can get him in a second.
You could possibly get him in a second. I try to keep an eye on like mock drafts I see, and I'll write them down just for some reference to see if I can get an idea. And Mechie, yeah.
I don't know how your draft order goes. Why'd you stop down there and then go? Whatever.
So Mechie actually in this mock draft, he was in bottom of the second round.
Wow, that's a steal if you ask me.
Yeah,
it's a steal.
And at that point, you're looking. Who are the guys that can be just the high ceiling, even if they're low floor? Who has that potential?
Right.
And Mechie's that guy. I don't think he's gonna have a high floor, but he could have that high ceiling.
Depends on his PPR value at the next level. Because in college, he had some games where he had 8, 9, 10 catches.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He has that possibility at that high ceiling.
That's game in and game out. But yeah, I would say at best late first.
I'd probably reach
early
mid second.
Early mid second. Yeah, I'm not saying like 2-1, 2-2, 2-3. I'm saying like 2-4.
And this is more
2-6.
I will say more often than not nowadays, Dynasty Superflex. So we're looking more at Superflex draft.
Yeah, so you get all the QBs. Still not sure how I like it. I loved it when I had Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson both playing, and now I'm like, I don't have any QBs because Kyler Murray, my boy.
All right, so we'll move on to the next one. This guy intrigued me for a while, but after watching his film, not as much.
He's okay.
Alec Pierce from UC, University of Cincinnati.
Look, Kuiper loves him for some reason, and all the analysts love him for whatever reason. So maybe they do this more than we do, and they probably have access to more than we do.
But they also look at it more as NFL production, where we're looking more fantasy production too.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
I think with Alec Pierce, his draft capital is going to determine a lot with him.
Right.
If he's a day 2 pick, he might be somebody that I move up a little bit further and maybe take at the beginning of the 3rd.
Right.
But I mean, this guy, I didn't have a lot of bad to say about him.
I don't think I have anything. He's tough, dude, and he catches in traffic.
I had a physical player. Yeah. He is a physical player.
I also have intelligent player as well. Absorbs contact well, tough wide receiver, above average speed at best though.
Yeah, I put great hands, good catch in traffic, physical player. Yeah. He doesn't have much of a run after catch ability though.
No.
But he's a very good route runner.
Yes.
He looked very crisp there.
I have crisp route runner with explosive breaks.
But he's not overly fast, and that goes to above average speed at best.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. So, like,
literally above average speed at best.
More often than not, unless you're the elite at it, like Mike Evans, the guys that just go up and win those 50-50 balls are disappearing.
Mike Evans has the size, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Unless you're like one of those guys.
Alec Pierce does not.
The 50-50 guys are disappearing. And I think that's more what Alec Pierce might be.
Mm.
And that's why I don't think he's going to be great in the NFL.
I don't know if he'll be great in the NFL or even relevant in fantasy football, but he could. I think he would benefit from running out of the slot in the NFL and matched up against nickels and outside linebackers. Mm-hmm. That would be his bread and butter in the NFL. But going off what you said, he's a late third round to me. And if there's nobody else left,
I have him as my 17th best receiver.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that, but I would probably say like 18th or 19th. I saw this list of players, and I saw names that I liked and knew, and then I saw some names that just really surprised me. And Alec Pierce was not somebody who I knew about.
I knew a little bit about him, but I didn't know a whole lot.
I live in Cincinnati, and I don't watch any UC football.
I didn't watch much at all.
I'm not a Bearcats fan. I didn't grow up a Bearcats fan, so yeah, not a whole lot of knowledge on this kid coming out. But hey.
Well, not a lot of knowledge on Alec Pierce, but our next guy we have quite a bit of knowledge on.
Yes.
We've been watching this guy play for, what, 3 years now?
3.
David Bell from Purdue. Mm-hmm. And honestly,
he's not going to impress you.
He might.
There's nothing about his game that impresses you. It's like, okay, he's a wide receiver with above average speed, not great speed.
Yeah, he's a great route runner, and he can run just about every route as well. I didn't really have a bad thing to say about him.
And he's a giant killer. I mean, against Iowa this year, I think he had 12 catches for like 268 yards and 3 touchdowns against Michigan State, number 3 Michigan State or whatever it was. Another 12 receptions for another 244 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, he just...
Yeah. With David Bell, one of the best things I had to say about him, he has great route running ability.
Yeah, I mean...
But he's not a burner. But he's great with double moves.
Yeah, his route running makes his money.
He's really good with contested catch, though.
Yeah. I have sneaky elusive and just makes plays. PPR plus yards god. So PPR and yak god.
And then with him, one of the notes I have on here is he puts great effort into blocking for teammates.
Right.
Like he's willing to do anything. He's a competitor.
I have intelligent player, effort player, does everything well, but doesn't stand out in one area.
He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah. No wow factor, overall sneaky great player.
Yeah, and another note I have on here, like this guy just shows he's the ultimate teammate.
Right.
Willing to block.
Mm-hmm.
He's a competitor. He always gives it his all.
Yeah, I mean he's out there. There's nothing left on the field when it's over.
I think one of the biggest notes I have on here, he's willing to take that big hit just to make the catch.
Yeah, dude, this guy loves football, and you can tell that he loves the game. But I mean,
he's pretty versatile.
Yeah.
Now, what gives me fear about him is we heard a lot of this about Rashad Bateman last year, and they might be somewhat similar where they can do everything well, but nothing great. And Rashad Bateman wasn't considered as high of a prospect by the NFL. And I feel like that's going to be David Bell.
Yeah, I don't think David Bell's a day one guy, though.
I don't think Bateman was either.
I don't know.
But in this class, I have Bell as my 6th best receiver.
I'm going to say top 10. I don't know about 6th best, though, and I'm just going to...
I've seen him in mock drafts picked anywhere from about early 2nd to early 3rd.
Yeah, I would not take him in the first round.
No.
And if I can wait to 2-1 and get David Bell, heck yeah, I will. In the Rebuild Dynasty League where I have 6 picks in the first round, if I take David Bell at 1-9, I don't give a crap.
But yeah, and that one's also 1 QB, so QBs aren't going to push players back.
Right.
But good news is I finished higher than you, and I had 2 picks before you pick once.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I have your 1-1.
That's fine.
Which I could tell you now, it's not going to be one of these receivers. It's most likely going to be Breece Hall.
That's fine. That's fine. I think I'm good at running back in that league. No, I'm not. I don't have any running backs in that league.
Well, anyways, we'll get to our next player on here.
Yeah.
Justin Ross out of Clemson. And what interests me about Ross is when T. Higgins was there, they were saying that Justin Ross might have been the better of the two receivers.
Here's the thing. When Trevor Lawrence was there, Justin Ross was fantastic.
The thing is also with Ross, he got injured. He actually missed the 2020 season due to a congenital fusion condition of his neck and spine.
No idea what that is.
Basically, there was something wrong with his neck and spine that required surgery. So it could be, and I haven't really looked at it. I don't know if that's the same thing that Chris Carson's suffering from. So there was an injury that kind of took a season away from him. And then this season, DJ Uyunglele.
I have no idea.
DJU. He didn't look great. Clemson just didn't look good.
No, Clemson looked like butt juju, which is my favorite word now.
But Justin Ross, he still kind of intrigued me.
I said he was extremely underutilized at Clemson, has potential, and that's what you have to go off of.
So, some of my notes, he lacks speed to win vertically, but he's strong and tough to bring down when he has the ball.
Yeah. I said strong hands. He catches well in traffic and runs well after the catch. And he can make people miss in the open field. But yeah, he's not
open fields.
Right. He's not gonna burn you off the line of scrimmage.
He's good in short and intermediate routes. So.
Right. Yeah, definitely. The right over the middle.
I think my comment on here is he's more of a slot guy.
I don't have that written down, but I said Chris Route Runner would work well inside.
One note I did have though is he does suffer from drops at times.
Yeah.
And I mean, I basically like I said, I'm intrigued by him, but I have him marked as a 3rd round flyer for me.
I think because of DJU or however you say his name, I think this last season at Clemson for Justin Ross was a disappointment to say the least, and it hurt his stock. It hurt his capital right now.
It doesn't help coming off in a missed season due to injury.
Right, absolutely. But you're right. I'm not taking him at all.
I'm going to throw a flyer on the 3rd.
I mean, yeah, if I have at this point in dynasty drafts, if the 3rd round's just who do I hope?
Oh yeah,
who do I hope pays off?
3rd and later, it's a shot in the dark. It's who do I think has a chance? But
he's
one of the guys I think he actually does have some capability to being a guy in the league.
Oh yeah. If he can get healthy and be utilized, I'm not gonna draft him. I don't know if I have a 3rd round pick in any of our dynasty leagues, but if I don't, and he's out there on the free agent, if he's out there as a free agent, hell yeah, I'm dropping some old smut that's 33 years old like me, and I'm picking this kid up. Why not?
Yeah, like I said, I have him as my 15th best receiver.
That's fair. I would agree with that. He's right there. If he had any better quarterback play this past season at Clemson, he might have been top 10.
He would have been up higher. I don't know about top 10, but he would have been up higher.
We could have seen it. I liked him a couple years ago, like you said, when T. Higgins was there. But
I think our next one is Eric Izukanama.
This is our last one for the 1st round.
Yeah, we're actually going through this, I think, pretty quick, but we'll go ahead and we'll still take the break it up into 2 episodes.
I'm going to need a potty break.
But one of the worst things about Izukanama from Texas Tech is we only have 1 game, so I kind of supplemented.
And it was so fun to watch this one
tape.
It was like 9 minutes worth of game film because they were like down to BYU if I remember correctly.
I can't remember who it was, but yeah, and so I did kind of supplement this a little bit with what other people were saying as well. So I actually with Izukanama, he's a physical player and he can make contested catches.
Mm-hmm. Do I like this kid a lot?
Due to his size and strength, he can definitely break the tackles.
And he's a phenomenal route runner.
Yep.
Like crisp, dude. Like explosiveness, crispness, attention to detail on his route. Man, this kid's awesome.
His route tree, though, from what I had notes from other people,
downfield,
it was mainly slants, screens, hitches, and fades.
Yep. Not a whole lot in the repertoire there, but that's what Texas Tech does. And everybody knows that's what Texas Tech does.
But he could be a third down chain mover for somebody.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he's so strong.
I did see, though, he tends to want to run before securing the ball at times. So he does have a few drops with that. But that's something that can be taught and can be changed.
Yeah, hey, slow down. This game's going to move fast for you at this level. It's going to move fast for everybody. So just slow yourself down. Take care of the ball.
No, I agree. Like, Ezukanama, I was intrigued by his tape.
Oh, man, I could have watched it over and over again for
And I think the first thing I did, like, watched, I was like, hey, what are your thoughts on this guy, Ryan? He's like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I hadn't looked yet. I do remember when we were wasting our time punching in numbers for week-to-week outputs.
He seemed to have good numbers.
Yeah, he was always near double-digit receptions, near or over 100 yards receiving, and maybe a touchdown or two. But yeah, this kid's got explosive. I think he has very high potential. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm working on getting it pulled up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wipe that clean. Right there. 15.
Yeah. We have season averages.
48 receptions. That doesn't seem right. No.
I mean, he had 48 receptions, 705 yards.
I don't think that's right.
Averaged 14.69 yards per reception. 4 TDs. That may not be right.
There's no.
Or he might have got hurt or something.
I don't think that's right. I'll have to look it up, but yeah.
But no, this guy, he just, the one game we had was very, very intriguing, and
I think his size is gonna make him.
For some reason, I have him at 19. Just because I like the guys above him before, better.
That's fair.
But it's also, we've only seen one tape on him.
I'm not saying you're dumb or anything for putting him at 19, but I would say he's in my top 15, and I think it's a late second rounder.
I think he's a third rounder for me still.
That's fine.
This is I think it's because he's one of the first guys, like one of the guys I've watched early, and by the time I got to the end, there's a lot of guys I started liking a lot.
That's fair. This is a kid that I'm willing to take a shot on late second round.
Yep.
I'm talking 2.7, between 2.7 and 2.12. So yeah, I mean, I think he's got that ceiling of potential, but that's it. Where does he end up? Who drafts him? Who takes him? Who signs him as a free agent if it gets to that? How's he going to be utilized? It's all speculation. We don't know anything. Nobody does.
Yeah, everything's speculation. Even Mel Kiper and Todd McShay, in the end, they don't know anything.
No, but they get paid a lot of money to do what they do.
They do talk to these GMs. They go to the senior day, the pro day.
I would too if somebody paid me to do it.
I mentioned.
Well, I would too if I didn't have to work and get paid money to pay my bills.
I mentioned that people that live in Mobile, they get to go to the freaking Senior Bowl and the practices that they want for free. I think it is. Mm-hmm. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
And like some of those people I listen to, they're like, you can talk to anybody. You can talk to the players because they don't know who they're talking to. You could be working for an office or all they know, for the front office for all they know.
So one of my favorite things from the Marine Corps is if you walk around with a clipboard and act like you belong there, nobody messes with you. It doesn't matter what rank you are. If you have a clipboard and you just walk around with confidence, nobody says anything to you. So just take a pen.
Yeah.
And pad of paper and just start talking to all the players you want to talk to. Act like you belong there.
One of the podcasters I listen to, just to start trying to get an idea, like, because I know my view's not always going to be right.
Wow.
I like to listen to everybody, see what they say, combine things, and maybe look for something different.
Mm-hmm.
But he was at the Senior Bowl, and he's like, Dan Marino was sitting next to us, and everybody's nervous talking. I just went up to like, hey, Miss Marino. He's like, call me Dan. It just seems like this is such a lax place. They said Mike Tomlin was talking to Malik Willis just outside of a bathroom, him and his whole family.
Malik Willis to the Steelers, that'd be interesting.
Oh, yeah. Which we'll get to quarterbacks later. But
yep, we're jumping ahead, sorry.
That would be something cool for us to eventually go to.
Mm-hmm.
And like we mentioned, Indianapolis isn't too far away from us. Maybe next year we look into going to the combine for the receivers. Or
I think next year COVID will be pretty much none of those requirements to get in there will be a thing. So yeah, that'd be.
So in this episode, we reviewed Jameson Williams, Jahan Dotson, John Mechie, a lot of J's in here.
Yeah, there are.
Alec Pierce, David Bell, Justin Ross, and Eric Ezukanama. And as you said, we've had them ranging anywhere from about 1 to about 3 or 4 to 17.
How do you say his name?
Ezukanama.
There's no vowel in between the N and the M.
Yeah, but that usually makes a num.
Ezukanama. I don't know. I like the kid.
Anyways, if you like what we're doing, we'll be back in another about 5-10 minutes with another episode.
Let's say 15 because I need to use the bathroom.
What we're gonna do is we'll post one of these episodes today, and then I'll post another one tomorrow, just so they're split up when they come out.
Yeah.
Watch them in your free time.
Yeah, and I think we were just under 30 minutes for this, and I think that's a good pace for us.
Yeah, and
keep it upbeat, keep it fast.
We got less than a month till rookie draft.
Yeah.
We kind of went over what we're going to do next week, but we're going to break down each
position group.
We're going to do a mock draft before the draft, and then after the actual NFL draft, we're going to do one more mock draft for everybody and talk about which players we like, and especially at their landing spots.
Fantasy football season is quickly approaching us, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the great thing about Dynasty. The off-season isn't an off-season. You still got to do some work.
It's just like sports in real life. You got to either recruit or you have to scout or something.
All right. Well, that's all we've got for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Like us on YouTube. Like and share us on YouTube.
Yep.
Subscribe.
Spotify,
Instagram.
Google Podcasts, I think we're on. Apple Podcasts as well.
Anchor, we're not on Apple.
Oh, dang. That's okay.
Like us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
Yep.
We're definitely going to try to be a little more active. That's something that we do need to work on. But if you message us, we're likely going to respond.
Definitely. Look, we both work full-time jobs. I think I've been putting in just under 50 hours a week. I work in IT, so whether it's busy or not, it's always busy. But if I'm more busier than other times, all depends on the job. But right now it's been pretty hectic. But we're making time to put this content out and share our opinions and help you win your fantasy football league. So give us a little thumbs up.
All right. Well, that's all we've got for this episode, and we'll see you guys in
15 minutes.
About 15 minutes.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Or Eastern Daylight Time. I don't know. That's going to go away, so we can just say EST. You got me running.